All right. Good morning. Look, I'm standing this morning with Councilmember Amanda Edwards, Councilmember Jack Christie, Councilmember David Robertson, and Councilmember Brenda Stoddard. And then also this morning, I am standing with George Bunick and his wife Donna and daughters Leah and Jennifer. So let me just say good morning and thank you all for being here. I'm excited today to announce the new director of the Mayor's Office of Public Safety and Homeland Security. It is an important position within not just my administration, but it's an important position here at the City of Houston. The new director will be responsible for keeping the city safe during natural disasters such as hurricanes, flooding, major events, and other crises. The divisions within the Mayor's Office of Public Safety and Homeland Security include Homeland Security, the Office of Emergency Management, the Houston Emergency Center, and Houston Crackdown. I would like to thank Dennis Dorinsky, who is retiring, and I can't say enough thanks to Dennis for the fine work that he has done for the city for about 52 years. And even after he initially said he was going to retire, I've asked him to kind of stay on. So Dennis will be finishing up the month of February and then serving on some committees even after that. So I certainly want to extend my thanks and my appreciation to Dennis and to his entire family. Dennis has led the office since 2005, and he's had a tremendous impact on the city of Houston. George T. Bunick is a proven leader with the professionalism, experience, background in strategic planning, character, and work ethic needed for this important role. In March 2017, George T. Bunick retired from the Houston Police Department as Executive Assistant Chief after proudly serving the citizens of Houston for 34 years. He is no stranger to the city of Houston. He's no stranger to HPD. Quite frankly, he's no stranger to major public events. During his time at HPD, Bunick oversaw strategic operations, which included Homeland Security, tactical operations, emergency communications, and held other important roles. For the last 4 years, George has worked for the Houston Texans as a senior security auditor and implemented best practices to keep football fans safe. George has managed large-scale events, including the Super Bowl. I remember when I first came to the city of Houston, being introduced to the special tactical operations, and you led me around even back then. The Super Bowl, Major League Baseball, and NBA All-Star Games, and the NCAA Final Four and World Series. So when it comes to special events, he is no stranger. George has completed advanced specialized training with the FBI National Academy, the Secret Service Dignitary Protection Seminar, and the Police Executive Leadership Institute. And I'm counting on him, as well as the City of Houston, to lead the Office of Public Safety and Homeland Security with the same vigor and vision that he has given to the city over the last 34 years. Quite frankly, I'm glad he was still available. But I knew something was happening and something was in the cards when I was flying in from the U.S. Conference of Mayors on the airplane, and right sitting on the same seat next to me happened to be the future son-in-law to his daughter, Leah. And we got to talking, and he introduced himself, and then he said, Mayor, do you mind taking a selfie with me? And then he told me that he was dating George's daughter. And quite frankly, that was enough. And so he's also a family man and active in the community. And so to Donna, his wife, where's Donna? Donna, welcome aboard again to the city. To Jennifer and to Leah. And Jennifer just had a little one, and she is 3 weeks old.
Yeah.
you know. In fact, when George came to visit with me, he had to rush out to take it to go and see his grandchild. Please help me now to welcome George T. Bunick as of March 1st, who will be the newly appointed Director of the Mayor's Office of Public Safety and Homeland Security. George.
Great. Thank you, Mayor, for providing me this opportunity to get back into public service work. I've had the privilege of proudly serving in the Houston Police Department for the past 34 years, but this is a new position that I can provide leadership, direction, guidance, and make positive contributions to the organization. I'm truly honored to be able to return to the city once again to provide service as your new Director over Public Safety and Homeland Security. My #1 priority will be to keep the city safe and secure, and I will work closely with all the other department directors to ensure that we're properly prepared to respond to and to mitigate all disasters and natural emergencies and major events. I understand that Chief Zaremski left the office in great shape, so I anticipate a very smooth transition into this new position. And lastly, Mayor, I believe that you're leading the city in the right direction, and I'm very excited to be a part of your successful management team. To the council members, look forward to working with all of you very closely, especially when it comes to major incidents with the city, and also on the Public Safety Committee. To Chief Slinkert, Finner, and Chief Pena, we're going to work very, very closely. I'm going to pick up where I left off when we worked the Super Bowl last February. So, Mayor, thanks again. It's a great opportunity for myself, and I'm very excited to get to work. Thank you.
Thank you, George. And with Chief Slinker, Chief Fenner, and Chief Pena, all of these individuals know George. Harry Hayes, the Chief Operation Officer, is here. He's worked with him in the past. Susan Christian of Special Events has worked very closely with him in the past. So the good news is that when we're looking at a transition, I see a very smooth transition with someone who doesn't have to learn about the city or the operations of the city, or even with many of the people that currently exist within the department itself. And so that's what I was looking for, was a seamless transition and someone that could take the baton from Dennis and take us to the next level. Having said that, George is available for any questions anyone may have. any questions?
Mayor, I think we're looking for your reaction, and of course, if George would like to react, that would be great too. Mayor Pro Tem of Dallas yesterday remarked that he wants the NRA to take their convention elsewhere. Obviously, in the Houston area, we have lots of gun shows on a regular basis.
Do we have any questions first, though, to George Bunick just about the appointment?
I'll come back to that, Myra.
Yeah.
Before we move on to other topics.
Can you explain to people who don't know, this is one of those titles that people go, oh yeah, but they don't really know the nitty-gritty, what the job actually entails. Could you elaborate on this a little bit?
And I think that's why George has been appointed. So, George, that's your question.
Well, that didn't take long.
No, there's really 3 pieces to this job. One is Homeland Security, where I'd be the liaison to all the city departments with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. And out of that Homeland Security section, we deal with all the different grants. Houston has been very fortunate to get hundreds of millions of dollars in different grants. And right now, I know they have a Secure in the Cities grant. They have a complex coordinated terrorist attack grant. This is all money that's in the city. So part of my duties are going to be managing these Homeland Security grants and then looking at other things to make sure that we're doing the best practices that people are doing around the country. The second piece of the puzzle is the Houston Emergency Operations Center, and that's where we receive all 911 calls for police, fire, EMS, and then we also dispatch those same services. That's our HEC Center. And then the third piece, it's based out of the HEC Center, is the Office of Emergency Management. We have former Chief Rick Flanagan in the back. He's over the Office of Emergency Management. And that's the place where we all gather when we develop the city plan on how to mitigate and how to recover, respond to these major events. And it's also a place where we'll open and we'll operate, we'll bring together all the city directors so that we have all the decision makers in one place.
So like in the event of a disaster, for example, would you have the authority to then basically assume command of, say, constable's office, fire departments? I mean, how far does this go?
It's all City of Houston, but as part of our responsibilities, we don't look in just the city. We do a regional basis. So we work together very closely with the constables and the sheriff's department and state, just kind of like we did for the Super Bowl. When we have a major event, we work exclusively and partner with the local, county, state, and federal resources to put together a plan.
And how many people are you going to have working on the meeting, or is it like just you?
I don't know the exact numbers, who's exactly working for me, but there's at least 2 different office places.
Let me tell you, during the tax day flood on April 17, 2016, we spent a lot of time at the HEC Center, during Harvey in particular, from August 25th, if not before, to that entire time. We spent all day and all night, at the HEC Center. And it is a total team operation. It's a total team operation. Same thing as when we have the sleet, the snow, the ice storm. Total team operation. This is one department that supports pretty much all 22 other departments at the City of Houston. As George said, when it comes to grant writing, and I give a kudos to Dennis, because he has done an awesome job working with the entire team. And I see Kim back there. In terms of amassing grants that have benefited several departments here at the City of Houston. When it comes to working with special events, this division, this department, helps coordinate and collaborate and partner with them. With respect to working even directly with HPD and with the fire department, there's a very close direction. And of course, when it comes to public safety and homeland security, we are having to not only keep people safe who are in the city, who live in the city, who work in the city, but people who are coming into our city each and every day. So the role of this this particular department is even more pressing, even now. Training, okay? Just we've got like incidents that are taking place even today, whether it's in our schools, whether it may be in our hospitals, anywhere in our cities. And so it's an integrated sort of operation that has to work in collaboration with all of our departments. And it is more critical now than it has ever been. And that's why when you look for someone to run this shop, it was important to find someone, number one, who was familiar with our existing operation, who also had existing relationships that were positive, okay? Didn't need any time to really to kind of study or get familiar with it. Or someone who was familiar with the members of City Council and others. And someone who literally was already well prepared to step into the shoes. And so we were just fortunate, certainly I was fortunate, that George was still very much available to take over the helms and to run with it right now. The city is blessed with his willingness to come and serve. Okay.
So theoretically, just to help clarify,
okay,
he would basically enable like the entire region to like speak in one voice to the feds, for example, in case of a large-scale emergency, instead of piecemeal HFD, HPD, whatever, coordinating. So is that part of what his role is going to be, to streamline, to gather like from the local agencies and communicate with the feds and vice versa?
Yeah, in large part, I guess that's one way of looking at it. But when it comes to public safety and homeland security, he becomes that point person, working with his team and working in collaboration with HPD, with the fire department, and all of the other divisions, public works, you name it. When we meet at the HEC Center, for example, it is all of the departments that are sitting around the table, internal departments at City Hall, as well as external organizations And George is the point person in making that happen, trying to pull down federal grants and other dollars that are available. George, along with his team, are responsible for that. So there are a lot of things that they do that are not readily apparent from a public point of view, but are vital to the safety and security of the city of Houston. It is a partnership, just like anything. Public safety is a partnership. It's not just HPD. It's not just Homeland Security. It's all of us that are participating, but he becomes, and his shop becomes the point person. Okay?
I have a question for George. So you already know the landscape. You've already been here for decades. What in your mind is the one area that Houston, what do you see as the biggest challenge going forward with your job, and what needs the most improvement? Where do we need to make the city safer?
You know, nationally right now, there's a lot of media coverage on active shooters, and so I think police agencies and cities around the country have to come up with a plan to combat active shooters. So I think that that's going to be something that we're going to be talking about, trying to develop a plan and make sure that we have a proper response. On the prevention side, we obviously have to use our intelligence information, and when people give us that information, make sure that we're doing proper follow-up on that. The other thing is to continue to look for federal grants. Right now, and as the mayor mentioned, part of what we do is we exercise, we plan, we develop scenarios, what if, we do tabletop exercises, and that's real important because you react as you're trained. So I've been involved in dozens of tabletop exercises before for all the major sports venues and some of the disasters. So I think it's real important that we're properly prepared to be able to respond to things that are out there. The other thing is we follow things and patterns not only nationally but internationally. Like I know we made some adjustments on some of our large events as a result of some of the trucks driving through some of the large gatherings, and Chief Slinkard and Chief Finner came up with a plan to combat that, to seal down these areas where we have large crowds.
And what do you think the city can do better, keeping in mind the natural disasters we've weathered over the last 3 years, and just in your experience?
I'm not exactly sure what the city can do better at this point. I haven't had an opportunity to get in there and look at it. As far as I know, the city's been performing as well as they possibly can. There's certainly always room for improvement, and I'm going to look at different processes to make hopefully some positive recommendations on improvement. I think we're always looking to improve our services.
Chief, we've had, sorry, old habit calling you Chief. We've had a series of threats against schools, and you brought up the school shooting. Fortunately, the threats have been just online; they have not panned out in anything, but that may not always be the case. What do you think? I know that Spring Branch, for example, they're a school district. They started their own SWAT team. What do you think? What would you like to see the local schools, HISD, do differently or better to hopefully prevent a school shooting or react to them?
That question may be better left to maybe the school district administrators and the school district police chiefs. Whether I don't know what type of resources they have or what type of training they do, so I don't think I'm probably the best person to answer that specific question.
Any
All
more
right.
questions?
Can you answer the NRA convention question and gun shows? Mayor Pro Tem of Dallas, NRA convention scheduled to come to Dallas this year, and he said yesterday that they should take the convention and go somewhere else. What are your thoughts on NRA convention? I mean, what if they need to leave and said maybe we'll come down the street?
Yo no hablo inglés solamente español. I don't speak English, just y'all need to loosen up. Y'all too tight. Look, y'all too serious today. Let me just.
A lot of time with the police chief?
Let me
there,
just
sir?
let me just say that you know, what is important is to do everything we can to prepare and keep everyone safe. That's number one. And in order to do that, it's important for all of us to stay focused. And I want to stay focused. Instead of just dealing with, for example, with any one organization, let me salute the students who have stepped up and raised their voices, because I think this is one time when the students, when this young generation will lead everybody else. And so I want to applaud the students for finding their voice and help give a voice to those who have been silent or reluctant, because I firmly believe in this day and time that these students and these young voices will make the difference, because all of these students have parents, okay? And their parents are businessmen and women, their parents are elected officials, and it's hard to run away from a conversation with your children. And the children are speaking, and I don't want to do anything to get in the way of their message or to take away from their message. And so I guess my direct response would be is that I encourage the students and these young voices to continue to speak up boldly and insist that all of us do something, and that the status quo is unacceptable. So let me focus on them, because quite frankly, this is their moment.
So you don't have an opinion on the NRA or its conference?
I'm just going to stay focused, and let me work and do everything I can to keep our city safe and continue to appoint people who are very capable of doing that. For the city of Houston, the better message for today for the city of Houston is the fact that George T. Bunick is becoming the Director of Public Safety and Homeland Security. That's the day.